Welcome to the Witchy Work Wishes podcast, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office. Okay, my beautiful Witchy Work Wishes family, come on in, gather close, and let's slip right into this cozy little circle that we have built together. If you are able to, light a candle, wrap yourself in a blanket, or just let your shoulders drop and breathe with me for a moment. There is something about this end of year energy that always feels like a warm exhale. Like the universe finally sits down beside us and says, "All right, my love, let's look at what this year has carved into us." And isn't it wild that we are here at the edge of the year, standing in that soft liminal glow between what was and what will be? It truly feels like witch time, doesn't it? Stretchy, non-linear, so it's just kind of full of echoes and whispers and memories. One moment we are planting seeds under the early spring moons, and the next we are building up our dreams for winter, right now, tucking them in close to our hearts while the world gets quiet. This is the moment where the veil between old you and future you kind of thins out. And we can feel it, can't we? Like the reflection, the nostalgia, the magic, the what comes next kind of fluttering in our ribs. It's like we are holding on to a little lantern, walking that familiar path of closing one chapter and opening another. And before we even begin our magical planning, I want to say I am so grateful you are here. Like truly. Every single time you hit play, it creates this little spark that connects us. Your energy, your presence, your willingness to walk these witchy paths with me, it is the heartbeat of this whole entire space. You are not just a listener, you are part of this coven, this community, this warm and wandering family that stretches across miles and time zones and life stories. So wherever you are, maybe you're driving, maybe you're folding your laundry right now, maybe you are sneaking in a moment of magic between meetings. Just let this be your pause, your breath, your reminder that you are allowed to rest. You are allowed to reflect, and you are allowed to dream again. Let the energy of this season just settle over you. The hush of winter, the sparkle of long nights, the ancient whisper that we are stepping into sacred space simply by paying attention. Right now, though, it is just us, you, me, and the gentle rhythm of a year preparing to close its eyes. We are going to wander through some memories, lessons, celebrations, and shadows. Oh, and then yes, we are going to start calling in the magic of what comes next. But for this moment, just be here. Breathe, feel the quiet power gathering around you, and let's talk about some end of year magical planning. So let me tell you a little story about this time of year. This delicious liminal stretch where the energy gets soft and shimmery and just a little bit strange. The end of the year has always felt to me like that moment when, you're standing in a doorway with your hand on the frame, not quite inside the room. You're not quite out of it either, right? Just suspended between chapters, between versions of yourself, between everything you've learned and everything you are about to become. It is a tender place. It is a potent place. And honestly, I love it because this is where the magic of planning really takes root. Now, if you've been with me for any length of time, you already know one of my secret ingredients to surviving life. Business, witchcraft, motherhood, everything is lists. And yes, I am to the core, to the bone, a list maker. Give me a pen and a scrap of paper or a full planner, a napkin, even just a little sticky note. And I will absolutely start writing down what needs clearing, what's lingering around, what's calling me, what's whispering, hey, don't forget me. At the end of the year, lists become something entirely different. They really stop being, those reminders and suddenly become reflections, little breadcrumbs, a map of the human and witch experience that you've lived through. And I find that pretty grounding, especially when, this season tends to stir up all of the feelings. Because end of year energy comes with some pressure, right? It does for me. Did I do enough? Did I grow enough? Did I hit the goals I thought I should? What am I supposed to plan next? And when our minds start swirling like that, I swear a simple list becomes the biggest exhale. Just write it down, clear it out, get it on paper or in, some digital format. It really does take the weight off of your chest and puts it somewhere where you can see it and hold it and work with it. Suddenly, the chaos becomes manageable. The overwhelm becomes a page of little bullet points. The million thoughts in your mind, well, they shrink into steps, into possibilities, into gentle little reminders like, oh yeah, hey, I did learn a lot this year. Or I don't know, maybe you feel like, hey, okay, yeah, I did accomplish things and I actually forgot to celebrate them. Or maybe it's going to be more of a, oh, hey, yeah, maybe I don't actually need to fix everything before January. There's magic in that, truly. Because we don't just cast spells, we organize energy. We name it, shape it, move it around, give it containers. And lists? Well, lists are one of my favorite magical containers. They turn intangible energy into something you can touch, something you can release or build upon, something that makes planning feel like play instead of pressure. So, in this episode, today, as we move through our end of year reflections and start planting seeds for 2026, I will be inviting you to lovingly, gently make your own list. Not the stressful kind, not the I have to be perfect kind, just the ones that help you see your year clearly and also help you soften into the next one with intention and ease. Because the end of the year doesn't have to be overwhelming. It can actually be grounding. It can be magical. And with the right list, well, I think it can feel downright simple. All right, let's start wandering back through the year. No pressure. We're just going to gently and softly review. And this isn't the kind of review where we grade ourselves or, dissect every choice. Like, absolutely not. This is the witch's version, which means we are looking for energy and patterns. We are looking for lessons and magic and, the little sparkly moments that changed something inside of us. And yes, you already know what I'm going to say. It is the perfect moment for a list. A simple, soft, no perfection needed list. Grab your notebook or the notes app or a scrap of paper and think of this like gathering the breadcrumbs of 2025. No real structure yet, just like whatever floats up. I have 8 questions that I am going to be personally working with, but I would love to share them with you in case you want to incorporate them in your end of year planning too. Number 1, what surprised you this year? Not, just the big obvious things, even tiny surprises that shifted today. Those are the ones we want to think about. A new opportunity, a new truth, a new boundary, a new habit. Maybe it's a new piece of magic that made you raise an eyebrow and think, okay, see you. Let that go on the list. Number 2, what did you release? Even if you didn't originally intend to? Every year has a shedding. Friendships that drift, habits that dissolve, ideas that just no longer fit. Sometimes we outgrow things quietly, and really we don't even notice until we look back. Write them down, honor them, Release them again just by naming them. Number 3, what magic worked for you this year? This is where the witchy heart of the review lives. Think about the spells, the rituals, the moon cycles, the deities, the divination moments that actually landed for you. Like which practices lit you up? Which ones helped you survive? Which ones helped you grow? And which ones carried you through seasons you didn't even think you could handle? Put those on your list. They really are important clues. Number 4, when did you feel most connected to your craft? Was it during full moons, doing some new moon cooking? Was it through journaling? Was it outside in the cold air with your feet on the ground? Was it during grief, during joy, or during total chaos? Whatever moments made, your magic feel alive, honor them. These are going to be your alignment markers. Number 5, when did you feel disconnected and why? Be a little gentle here. This isn't about shame. It's more about your awareness. Maybe life got busy. I don't know, maybe stress pushed your practice to the side. Maybe you didn't feel inspired. Maybe your magic needed to evolve before it could return. Whatever the reason, just list it softly. It is just data. Number 6, which lessons kept repeating? This one is always a doozy for me. You know those moments when the universe keeps handing you the same theme in a dozen different costumes until you say, like, okay, I get it. Write down the repeating lesson, the big one your spirit kept circling around this year. Number 7, when were you proud of yourself? And don't you dare skip this one. You made it through things that someone else would not have survived. You showed up when it was hard. You grew when you didn't feel ready. You healed things you didn't have words for. Write that down. And lastly, number 8, what needs to be celebrated? We, witches, I think, are notorious for skipping the celebrations. We do the spell, right? We get the result. We shrug, we move on. Not today. No. Make a list of these small victories, the quiet wins, the breakthroughs no one else noticed but you. This is where your magic shines. And the beautiful thing about looking back this way, you will start to notice threads, themes, a story that unfolds across the months, magic that worked, lessons that shaped you, shifts that prepared you for where you are right now. Your year in review is not about perfection, it's about gaining clarity. And the moment you start putting these little pieces onto a page, guess what? Suddenly the year stops feeling overwhelming and starts making sense. Like you are watching the constellation of your own growth appear one star at a time. So take your time. Take your time with these 8 questions. Sip your tea, let memories surface when they want to. And whether you write down two things or 20 things, you are doing it right. Now, as you're sitting with your own reflections for those 8 questions, I want to share a little of mine too. Because you know me, right? I am right there with you, walking through the same seasons, the same moon phases, the same, oh goodness, this is a lot, moment that life throws our way. And this year, it was a roller coaster wrapped in magic and lessons and laughter, and I think a little sprinkle of chaos too. When I look back, I can actually feel the chapters of this year in my bones. The moments that stretched me, the ones that softened me, the ones that cracked something open in me in the best possible way. And honestly, I'm proud of myself too, even if I don't always say that out loud. There were definitely weeks where my magical practice felt strong and steady, kind of like the universe and I were on the same page, writing the same story. Spells that landed beautifully, the rituals that just felt alive, the energies that came through so clearly that I had to stop and say, okay, I hear you. And then there were seasons where my craft got quiet. Life crept in, responsibilities, emotions, work, exhaustion, and my magic took a little nap. And that's okay too. Because being a witch isn't about consistency in the Pinterest perfect sense. It is about rhythm, though. It is about listening. It is about returning to ourselves again and again, even after the messy middle parts. I also had moments this year where I felt like I was meeting a new version of myself. Those times when you look in the mirror and you're like, man, I've grown. I didn't even notice it happening, but I'm not who I was 6 months ago. There was a lot of that, a lot of soul stretching. There was a lot of reorganizing, both literally with my home and with my work, but also spiritually with my inner world. Boxes everywhere, both physically and emotionally. And because I'm a list maker, I kept catching myself scribbling little reminders like rest more, say no faster, drink water, drink water, drink water, trust yourself. The kind of lists that look simple but take courage to actually follow. There were some beautiful surprises this year, too, for me. Magical nudges that I didn't see coming, energies that stepped forward to work with me, some familiar, some brand new, and each one teaching me something different. There were moments where I felt deeply supported, even, during the hard months. And there were moments where my magic reminded me that I'm never walking alone, even when life feels heavy. And gosh, you guys, there were chapters where joy wrapped itself around me so tightly, especially when it came to my boys, to Hearth and Hen, to all of you, to the wonderful little community that we are building here. All of that carried me more than I can say. So, anyways, as we step into this end of year space together, I want you to know I am still learning. I am still growing. I am still figuring things out just like you. I had wins, I had losses, I had some breakthroughs. I had girl, like, what is even happening right now moments. But I showed up and you showed up. And somehow just made everything feel a little more magical. Okay, now that we've looked back and gathered the threads of this year, let's talk about clearing the energy. And not in a, dramatic, like burn your life down kind of way, but in a soft, witchy, let me breathe again kind of way. Because before we start building anything new in 2026, we need some space. We need a little room around the edges. We need a moment to, release what does not belong in the next chapter. And I want you to really hear me when I say this one. End of year clearing does not have to be overwhelming. It doesn't have to be a full house purge or, a 47-step ritual or a life overhaul. Honestly, some of the most powerful magic happens in those tiny little moments, right? For all of us. Quick moments, life-sized moments. So let's walk through a few gentle ways to clear out 2025's leftover energy together. A great one to do is a simple home cleansing. No elaborate tools are needed for this one. If you've got incense, herbs, if you have a selenite wand, great, amazing. If you've got absolutely nothing except your voice and intention, also amazing. Walk through your space or even just sit where you are and imagine brushing the year off of the walls. Imagine sweeping the stagnant energy right out the door. Let the windows breathe even for a moment. And if you want to say something out loud, try, thank you for what you taught me. I release what no longer needs to stay. That's it. Small, magical, done. We can also do a little witch's sweep, like literal or energetic. If you have a broom, especially one that you love, give your floors a quick sweep with intention. Or you know what? Just sweep the energy around your body. Picture yourself brushing away the worry, the clutter, the heaviness. And if you are a list lover like me, you can even write a sweep list. Sweep away self-doubt. Sweep away old expectations. Sweep away hurry. Sweep away comparison. Sweep away that I should have done more voice. Just writing it down shifts the energy. Trust me. We can clean out our altars or even create a new mini one anywhere in your home. At the end of the year, our altars are pretty dusty, right? Physically, energetically, gently wiping things down, rearranging, maybe adding some, winter greens, swapping out candles. Toss the things that feel old or tired. And you know what? If you don't have an altar, a single candle with an intention is an altar. A bowl of water is an altar. A rock in your hand is an altar. Try this intention as you refresh your things. I clear space for the magic I am calling in. That's all you need. We can do some release work with the December dark moon. When the dark moon comes, sit with your year in review list that you just made and circle anything that you're just ready to release. Not everything, just what feels heavy or outdated. Maybe it's exhaustion. Maybe it's fear of failure. Old routines, old roles you've outgrown. Obligations maybe you never really wanted. Or simply the pressure to be everything to everyone. Then speak it, burn it, tear it, bury it, or tuck it into a drawer. Release doesn't have to be theatrical. It just has to be honest for you. We can also do some refreshing protections around the home. End of year is a beautiful time just to renew boundaries, magical ones and personal ones. We can add fresh salt to our windowsills, replace or recharge protective stones, draw a small sigil on the doorframe, whisper a boundary into the threshold we walk through. Even tiny actions shift the whole tone of your space. Let's not forget some clearing of the digital clutter. Digital energy counts. Those photos you'll never use. Those 2,000 unread emails. The apps you haven't touched since May. Pick one. Pick one little thing and clear it. Not the whole phone, just one thing. When you're a list maker like me, it feels so good to check off a box that says, cleaned one digital corner. It's simple, it's achievable, and it is magical. Also, we can do some type of closing breath just to seal the clearing. End your release work by placing a hand over your heart and whispering, I release this year with love, and I welcome the new one with open hands. It's sweet, it's soft, it's real magic. And that's it. That's all you need to begin creating that spacious feeling, the one where the air feels lighter and the year ahead feels possible again. It's pretty empowering to let go of the things that don't need to follow us into 2026. All right, so why? Why are we doing this now? Well, because 2026 is going to be a good year. Not that 2025 wasn't, or that we have these ridiculously unreachable goals for 2026, but because we are clearing a little space and letting old energy settle. This lets us begin to layer a foundation for the year ahead. The magical groundwork that makes everything feel intentional, aligned, and rooted in who we are becoming. And this part, I think, should feel exciting, like not overwhelming. Think of it like choosing the soundtrack for the next chapter of your life. So much of year-end burnout, I think, comes from thinking we have to plan every single detail like right now. Really, all we are doing is setting the tone, kind of picking the energy and creating a soft landing place for our future selves. One of my favorite ways to begin is by choosing a guiding energy for the year. It's kind of like my theme. And this can be anything your spirit feels drawn to. A deity you want to deepen your relationship with. Maybe it's an animal spirit that just keeps popping up for you. Maybe it's an element that feels like it's calling your name. It could be a tarot or oracle card that wants to be your North Star. Or honestly, even a single word that just becomes your anchor. Maybe next year is your year of courage or devotion or expansion. Maybe it's your year of rest. And yes, rest can be absolutely a magical theme. I want you to pick something that feels like it supports the version of you that you are stepping into, not the version you feel pressure to be. Next, let's talk about setting some intentions, not goals in the, traditional sense, but those soul aligned desires that rise up from deep inside. Ask yourself what you want more of this coming year. Do you want some more peace, more play, more ambition? Maybe you want some more structure, maybe some more softness. Ask what habits or patterns you are just craving. Ask what parts of your magic want more attention. Is it your kitchen witchery? Is it your divination practice? Is it your connection to the moon? I don't know, maybe it's your grounding rituals. We are not forcing anything into place here. We are honestly just listening. And if you want to write these down in list form, I fully support that. Lists turn foggy ideas into something that you can see and hold and work with. Now, I also love soul aligned goal setting at this stage. But again, kind of in like a witchy style, right? It's not the new year, new me hustle culture version. I'm talking more about like the gentle version. Like, what would the most enchanted version of me do this year? What would future me thank me for starting now? Where do I want my energy to grow? These kinds of questions help you design a year that feels magical instead of pressured. And please give yourself permission to choose things that nourish you, not drain you. This is not about productivity here. This is about alignment. And as you sketch out these ideas, I would love for you to remember something. You don't have to have it all figured out right now. You're not writing the entire spell. You are simply gathering your ingredients. You are feeling into the shape of the year, right? You're choosing the energies that will walk beside you. The details, well, they'll come later. The structure will come later. For now, all you need is intention, a little bit of curiosity, and a little bit of excitement for the magic that is beginning to bloom. Now, once you've chosen your guiding energy for the year ahead and, kind of sketched out those soft, soul centered intentions, one of the most magical ways to bring it all to life is by planning with the moon. And if you've been with me for a while, you know I absolutely adore working in these monthly lunar rhythms. For me, it just makes everything feel more grounded, more doable, and honestly, more magical. I think witches have always used the moon as a calendar, a compass of sorts, right? And a companion. And in a world where everything moves so fast and demands just so much from us, moon based planning gives us a rhythm that feels natural to the spirit. The new moon is where we set our intentions, not big dramatic goals, but simple, heartfelt seeds we want to plant for the month. Each new moon becomes a fresh little doorway, a reset button, a whisper of, hey, try again. And these don't have to be complicated. Maybe you choose one intention that aligns with your overall theme for the year. Something like clarity, grounding, confidence, rest, or connection. Just one focus per moon cycle is often more powerful than trying to juggle 20 things all at once. I think the moon loves simplicity. And then we flow into the full moon, which is our time for release and illumination, right? This is where we check in with ourselves and ask, what's getting in the way of my intention? What is weighing on me? What is ready to be let go? The full moon shines light on whatever needs clearing, and it makes your monthly magic feel kind of like a conversation with the cosmos, right? You set your intention at the new moon, you see what wants to bloom or shift at the full moon, and you gently course correct without judgment. When you follow this rhythm, new moon intention, full moon reflection, your year suddenly becomes a string of manageable, meaningful cycles instead of one huge, giant, overwhelming stretch of time. The pressure dissolves, the goals become more playful, and your magic stays active instead of just fizzling out by February. Plus, it lets you track which moon phases support you best, something I know you love doing with your lists and notes. By the end of the year, you will have a mini diary of your growth. 12 months of lunar breadcrumbs showing exactly how far you have come. And of course, if you are joining us over on Patreon and you're part of that family there, you have those monthly worksheets and prompts and cards and magical support to help you stay connected to each moon cycle. Promise you're not doing this alone. We are walking through this entire year together, moon by moon, spell by spell, intention by intention. Okay, now let's talk about some of the magical tools that you can bring into your planning for the new year. Because this is where, everything kind of starts to feel fun and tactile and alive. And listen, these tools are not here to complicate your life. They really are here to support it. Think of them like little magical helpers that hold on to the energy that you are working with and that kind of gently nudge you back into alignment when you need it. One of my absolute favorites is a dedicated journal or planner for the year. This one does not have to be fancy. It just needs to be, yours, like something that feels good in your hands. This is where you can keep your monthly moon intentions, track your reflections. You can even scribble your lists in them. But it's where you're going to watch your magic unfold over time. It becomes a living record of your growth, really. And if you're a visual witch, adding little symbols and stickers or, color coding can make it feel even more alive and personal. Altars are another incredible tool for planning. You can create a small planning altar even, right, for the year. Just a simple space where you place your theme word, maybe your guiding card or rune, a candle that carries the energy that you are calling in, or even a little charm, something that represents the witch you are becoming. This altar becomes a touch point. Every time you sit down to plan or reflect, you are connecting back to your intention in a physical, grounding way. Ooh, and let's not overlook our magical correspondences, colors, herbs, elements, crystals, even scents. If your word for the year is, something like courage, you might work with fire energy, fiery colors, like red or gold, or crystals like carnelian. If your theme is rest, you might lean into water energy, soft blues, lavender, and moonstone. These layers aren't, well, they're not necessary, but oh my goodness, do they make the journal feel rich and embodied? Candles, I love candles. They are especially powerful for planning work. Lighting a small candle before you start writing or, reflecting creates a ritual moment. It marks the time as sacred. A flame turns your to-do list into a spell of sorts, your goals into intentions, your hopes into something living. And if all you do is light a candle and breathe for 3 minutes before you plan, you've got it. Like, that's it. That is still magic. So you can also use a charm or a talisman as a companion for the year. Something you wear or keep at your desk. A little token of your theme or guiding energy so that every time you see it, it is a reminder of what you are building. And one of my favorite tools doesn't require anything at all. It is simply grounding, putting your feet on the floor, closing your eyes, and breathing yourself back into your body before you ask, what do I truly want for this month? Or maybe you're going to ask, what does my spirit need today? Grounding turns planning into conversation instead of pressure. And remember, tools do not make the witch, but the right tools can make your magic feel just deliciously supported, beautifully organized, and oh, so aligned. So use what calls you. Leave what doesn't. Build your own little toolkit for the year ahead and let it evolve with you. Now, before we go any deeper into planning the year ahead, I want to talk about a few of the common pitfalls that I think we, as witches, tend to fall into this time of year. And trust me, I say this with full love and a little wink because I have done every single one of these at some point. It is so easy, especially at the end of the year, to, slip into that mindset of, oh my gosh, I need to fix everything, or I need to make the perfect plan, or I don't know, my practice has to look exactly like those aesthetic witchy videos online. And honestly, that pressure, I think, is the fastest way to drain the magic right out of your intentions. So let's clear some of that energy by naming it. One big pitfall is trying to do too much at once. We tend to be passionate, right? We tend to be intuitive, creative creatures, and sometimes that means we want to start 12 new rituals, reorganize our entire house, call in 5 deities, and replan our whole life all in the same week. Do you guys do that? And while that ambitious spark is beautiful, it often leads to burnout. So instead, choose 1 or 2 magical focuses per month. Let your year unfold in cycles instead of one giant leap. Another pitfall is just losing our grounding. When we get excited or, overwhelmed, and the end of the year tends to bring both for all of us, doesn't it? We can float off into those big ideas without anchoring ourselves. Suddenly, everything feels scattered, nothing feels accomplishable, and we start judging ourselves for not being consistent. Grounding is your antidote. Even 30 seconds of deep breathing before planning can bring you back into a place of clarity. A very sneaky pitfall is comparison. Comparing your practice to someone else's or even to your own past self. Maybe last year you were doing, full moon rituals every month, and this year you're doing well just to light a candle and breathe. That's not failure. There's a rhythm there. Witchcraft grows with your life, and your life shifts every year. Give yourself permission to practice differently than you did before. Another common trap is perfectionism. And this gets so many of us. We think our journal needs to be beautiful. Our altar needs to be curated. Our planning needs to be flawless. And really, none of that is true. Messy magic is still magic. Scribbled notes in a notebook are still spell work. And imperfect action is often more powerful than waiting for the perfect moment. And finally, a big pitfall around this season is just forgetting to rest. Rest is magic. Rest is part of the spell. Rest is what helps your intentions root and grow. If you are exhausted, your planning is going to feel hollow. If you are nourished, your magic will feel alive. So please, please, please make rest part of the ritual. Light a candle, breathe, and let stillness be a part of your craft. The beautiful thing is that once we name these pitfalls, they tend to loosen their grip, right? You're not here to be a perfect witch. You are here to be an aligned one. And alignment comes from intention, honesty, and rhythm, not pressure. So as you move into your planning for 2026, hold these reminders close. Keep it simple, keep it grounded, keep it honest, and keep it yours. As we talk about planning for the new year, I would love to share a little bit about what I'm calling in for 2026. Not because my path needs to look like yours, but because I always think it feels good when we know we're walking into this next chapter side by side. And I'm kind of excited for 2026. Maybe a little nervous, a little tender, but mostly excited. I can feel that new year energy humming around the edges already. And it feels like possibility. Like a soft hand on your back, kind of a push from the universe saying, go on, my love, step forward. One of the things I've chosen for my own magical foundation this year is the energy I want to partner with. And I'll tell you, I'm leaning towards an energy that feels steady and rooted, something that pulls me back to center when life starts spinning a bit too fast. I am craving alignment, clarity, and a deeper daily connection to my craft. Not the big ceremonial moments, although I adore those. I do have them in my practice throughout the year. More like the stirring magic, the breath magic, the grounding magic. I'm choosing energy that feels like I'm coming home to myself. I've also been thinking about the parts of my practice that I want to expand for 2026. I would like more intentional moon work. I would like to deepen the rhythm of setting one clear intention each new moon instead of, scattering my energy across too many things. I want to honor the full moons more gently, letting them illuminate what needs releasing instead of expecting them to perform, miracles every month. I want my year to feel like a dance with the moon, not a sprint. And of course, you guys, I've been making my lists. I have little notes about daily habits that would support me, practices I want to revisit, altars I want to refresh, energies I want to touch more often. I've even started a list of things I want to feel more of. And I cannot recommend that one enough. It shifts the whole mindset. Instead of trying to plan your year by what you should do, you plan it by the energy you want to live in. For me, it's spacious, creativity, steadiness, and joy. These are the energies that I am inviting in. I'm also choosing to honor my limits this coming year, in life, in business, and in magic. I want 2026 to be the year where rest is part of my plan, not something I scramble for after I've already burnt out. I want to build routines that nourish me, not drain me. And I want to weave more softness into my craft. A little bit more play, some more curiosity, more moments where I just let myself explore something new just because it lights me up. I can feel the magic bubbling already. I know that 2026 is going to be a year where we grow together, where we deepen this community, where, we get to explore new energies and try new rituals and also stay rooted in the work that truly matters to our spirits. So, yes, those are my personal magical intentions. Steady growth, deeper connection, daily magic, spacious rhythms, and a whole bunch of joy. All right, I am not sure what you are doing right now as you're listening, but if you are able to just get super comfortable, kind of let your shoulders drop, unclench your jaw, maybe even pull a blanket around you, I would love for you to take the next couple of moments with me into a guided visualization together. Something gentle and warm, something touched with that Yule magic that we can all feel this time of year. I want you to imagine yourself walking into a quiet winter forest at dusk. The air is crisp, but not biting, just cool enough to make your breath visible in little puffs of silver mist. Snow blankets the ground in a soft, sparkling layer, and the world feels hushed, almost like it's holding its breath just for you. As you walk, there's a faint glow ahead. It's golden, warm, it's flickering, and you follow it down the small path lined with evergreen branches and berries. Soon you reach a clearing where a Yule fire crackles and dances in the center. Its warm orange and gold flames licking up towards the twilight sky. Around the fire, candles are tucked into lanterns, hanging from the trees, casting little halos of light on the snow. A simple wooden bench sits, waiting for you, draped with a cozy blanket. Take a seat. Feel the warmth of the fire on your skin, the gentle glow soaking into your chest like a blessing. Now imagine that beside you, on the bench, is a small wooden box, carved with symbols of winter magic, pine, stars, crescent moons, and swirling runes. The box represents your future self at the end of next year, the version of you who has walked through all of 2026 with courage, curiosity, and magic. Now go ahead and open the box in your mind. Inside, there's a little stack of papers folded neatly. These are the gifts from future you, the reminders, the wisdom, the energy they want to send back to you right now. Pick up the first paper. On it is a word or a feeling, something your spirit needs as you step into the new year. Maybe it says strength, or softness, or joy, or clarity. Maybe it's a word you were not expecting, but one that lands right in your heart. Hold it close for a moment. Then pick up the next piece of paper. This one holds an image, a little vision from the end of 2026. Maybe it is you finishing a project you've been dreaming of. Maybe it is you surrounded by people you love. Maybe it's you feeling calm, or feeling empowered, or feeling deeply connected to your craft. Whatever you see, let it fill you with warmth. This image is a blessing. Now, place both papers back into the box and close it gently. Feel the energy of your future self wrapping around you like a soft winter cloak. Steady, supportive, and just full of promise. You don't have to know every step between here and there. You only have to take the next right one. Take a slow breath in and imagine the Yule fire glowing brighter, warming your chest, illuminating the path ahead. And as you exhale, imagine the smoke carrying your intentions upward, out into the universe, where they will be tended to, where they will be nurtured and guided. When you're ready, stand up from your cozy bench, give one last look at your Yule fire, and slowly walk back through the snowy forest. And just know that you carry that light with you now. It's yours. It will guide you through the year ahead. Well, before we wrap up our episode today, I wanted to extend a soft, heartfelt invitation to join us over on Patreon, especially as we shift into the new year and start working with all of this beautiful, structured, moon-soaked energy together. If today's episode stirred something in you, if you felt that little tug of I want to go deeper, or I want support and rhythm in my practice this year, well, then Patreon truly is where the magic continues. Every month, we work with a new animal oracle card, a fresh theme, a magical worksheet full of journal prompts and exercises, tea recipes and spells, and for our top tier witches, an entire grimoire packet to help you build a full year of magical practice page by page. It is intentional, it is nurturing, and honestly, it keeps your magic from slipping to the bottom of the to-do list. Plus, you get early access to episodes, behind the scenes peeks, and a front row seat just to everything that we are building together for 2026. If you've been feeling the call to step into a more aligned and structured and supported witchcraft practice, one that flows with the moon and the seasons and your own energy, well, then this is your moment. I would love for you to come and join the family. Let's walk through the new year together, cycle by cycle, spell by spell, intention by intention. I would just absolutely love to have you there. And as we wrap up today's episode, I just want to leave you with this. Wherever you are in your journey, whether you feel, clear and aligned, tangled and tired, you made it through this entire year. You walked through every phase, every lesson, every shadow, every moment of joy and ache and uncertainty, and you're here, right here, at the threshold of a brand new year with your magic still glowing inside you. That alone is pretty sacred. I want you to remember that you are not doing any of this alone, too. I am right here with you, doing the exact same work, pulling out my journals and my planners, scribbling down messy lists, clearing out old energy, choosing my guiding themes, grounding myself when things get overwhelming, and building my own rhythm for 2026 right alongside you. I am reflecting, releasing, dreaming, and planning too. We are walking this path together, hand in hand across the turning of the year. So as you step into the next cycle, into the softness of winter, into the spark of Yule light, into the glow of your own intentions, I really, really hope you feel supported. I hope you feel encouraged. I hope you feel a little spark of excitement for the witch you are becoming. You don't have to have the whole year figured out. You just need to take the next gentle step, the next aligned breath, the next little magical action that brings you closer to yourself. I hope the closing of this year feels like a long, slow exhale, the kind that loosens the shoulders and softens the heart. And I hope the opening of the new one feels like stepping into warm light, a year that is steady, grounded, and just full of possibility. I am so grateful you are part of this Witchy Work Wishes family. Thank you, really thank you for walking through the magic with me, past, present, and all of the beautiful cycles to come. I do have a poem for today's episode, and of course, the moon update for this week. I will go grab those notes, and I will be right back. Let's start with the poem, and it goes. When winter winds grow soft and low, and Yule fire casts its golden glow, we gather close, our hearts made light, to plan our dreams by candlelight. The year behind us whispers true of all we shed and all we grew, of lessons learned and paths we crossed, of magic gained from things once lost. We sweep the old with gentle hands, release what no longer withstands, and in the hush of winter's air we find the space for future care. With moonlit lists and grounded breath, we charm the shadows, soften death. We plant intentions strong yet small, one tender seed instead of all. The new year waits with open skies, a spark of hope behind our eyes, and side by side with steady pace, we step into that sacred space. So raise your lantern, witch and friend, this isn't where the spells must end, for as the turning year draws near, we walk together, clear and dear. May joy take root, may magic rise, may courage shine where doubt once lies, and may the path we weave as one be kissed by moon and blessed by sun. All right, my friends, we are coming off of the full moon, the very last full moon of 2025, just last week. And now we're moving into the waning gibbous stage. So what does this mean for us and for our year end workings? Well, the waning gibbous phase really is good for reflection, release, and refinement. It is that gentle, thoughtful moment after the full moon's big burst of illumination where everything is still glowing with clarity and we can actually see what needs to be adjusted. This is the perfect lunar window for reviewing our year, kind of, letting go of anything that feels heavy or outdated, for cleaning up loose ends and softening into closure. It is a tidy up the energy moon, the moon that helps us clear the path so we don't drag old patterns into a brand new cycle. So as we sit here at the end of the year, this waning gibbous energy is fully on our side, making space for the magic that we are going to be calling in next year. As we close out today's time together, I want you to remember something deep in your bones. You've got this. Truly, everything you need for the next chapter is already inside you. The magic, the wisdom, the resilience, the spark. You are not starting from nothing. You are building from a year of growth and experience, of lessons and light. And even on the days when it feels messy or uncertain, you are still moving forward, step by step, cycle by cycle, moon by moon. And you are not doing it alone. I am right here with you, walking this witchy path side by side, learning and growing and figuring it all out right along with you. We are in this together. The magic, the planning, the intention setting, the ups, the downs, the cozy moments, the breakthroughs. I'm here to cheer you on, guide you, encourage you, and remind you of your own power every time you forget. So take a deep breath, feel your energy settle, and step confidently into this next chapter. You are capable. You are magical. You are aligned. And you are absolutely ready for everything 2026 has waiting for you. Let's do this together, my witchy family. We've got this. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week, a wonderful weekend, and I will talk with you next week for the big Yule 2025 episode. Thank you for joining me today at Witchy Work Wishes, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office. For more information and additional content, please visit me online at witchyworkwishes.com. If you want to send me a personal note, please email me at info@witchyworkwishes.com. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Just search for Witchy Work Wishes.